welcome to the OPNET tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to configure trajectories and assign them to mobile stations in a simulation environment. Using the trajectories, you can configure the mobility patterns that you would like to assign to various stations while you are simulating a real-life network. So I'll select this station. I'll show you where you have the option here in the edit attributes of this mobile station. You can see trajectory. You can select from a number of trajectories which are already there, but I'll first configure a trajectory and then we will assign it later on. So at the moment I'll just cancel it. So from the topology menu, I'll come down to define trajectory. In the defined trajectory, I'll assign it a name called test score 3. Then you can select variable interval or fixed interval. I'll keep it as variable interval. And then there are different other options. The initial altitude that you want to assign to this station, we'll keep it to 0 meters. The initial wait time, you can specify it in terms of hours, minutes and seconds. I'll keep it as 10 seconds in this case. Then initial pitch, initial yaw and initial roll. The other option that you have here is the coordinates are relevant to the object position or they are fixed where you define this trajectory. So I would select this option so that whatever I define here, they should be relative to wherever the object in my simulation scenario is placed. So the difference between these two is, like, if it is selected to, if this option is checked and I assign it to this station and the mobility is set in a way so that they move 2 blocks here in this direction, 2 blocks downwards, 2 blocks then again to the left and 2 blocks up back to its original position. So if this option is checked and if I assign it to a station here, it would always move in this direction. But however, if I define the coordinate somewhere else and this option is not checked, it would always initialize this object to start moving from wherever the trajectory is defined. So I would prefer this option to be checked in this case. And then I click on define path. You can see my mouse pointer and there is a small start button here. I click here and move it to this position. You can always see this in terms of length and in terms of duration, because the speed is selected as 10 kilometers per second and the distance is displayed in meters and the X and Y positions are already there and the height of the terrain is also displayed. So I'd select this point, then OpenET would ask me how long do you want this segment to be traversed. You can specify the speed and then you can have different time for it. You can specify the time so that when it reaches here you can make this station to wait at this position. I'll just select 10 seconds of wait time. You can change the initial pitch to something else. We wouldn't touch that option. I would click on continue and define the rest of the segments in this trajectory. I'll keep I'll keep 10 seconds as a wait time in this position. Select continue again, bring it here, continue again, and bring it back to the normal position. At this point, I'll just hit the complete button. So the scenario is now completed, and the whatever you could see here now, it is not visible right now. Now the next step is to select this station, go to edit attributes, and select the trajectory that we just selected. So in this case, the trajectory that we configured was named as test 3. This guy has been assigned now trajectory of test 3, and now you can again see the path which this station will follow during the simulation. You can go to DES simulation menu here, and then you can configure the simulation to be recorded. You can come to the simulation option and select the record node movement animation for the subnet, and Once this option is checked and you run the simulation, you can see the animation by playing the animation by clicking this option, and that's how you can assign different sort of mobility profiles by defining your own trajectory in the simulation and simulate users movement in a network. So I think that's all for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next. Thanks for watching.